I would like to talk about acceptance. Acceptance for where you are right now. Now, if you're unhappy, me saying to you, accept where you are, you're probably going to get very, very angry. You're probably going to get very, very frustrated. Accepting my circumstances, why would I do that when I clearly am not happy and I want to be somewhere else and I want to do something different? So when I talk about acceptance, it's accepting that, okay, I'm unhappy. It's accepting that, okay, this is the cards that I've been dealt with. This is what is on the table at the moment. It's like being in the ocean and you're drowning, you panic. If you're chucked off a boat, you panic. Whereas if you stay calm, you've got more chance of getting out and surviving. But, like I said, it's not easy to hear that when you're panicking and you want to get out of your situation. What am I going to do? I'm going to panic. But the realization in that moment of, okay, if I panic, then nothing's going to happen. But if I remain calm, I've got a chance of doing something here. So it's about having that self-awareness in that moment. And I look back on situations in which I've created with absolute ease and things have happened and I'm like, I look back and I think, how did that happen? And I look at the conditions which I was creating from. So I had this idea to do bridal hair and makeup for brides that were going to the wedding dress shop to have their dress fitted. I had this idea, what about if I were to do their hair and makeup after they had the dress on so they could see what it all looks like together? So I pitched it to a lot of bridal shops in my local area. Then I outsourced, I got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I had one bridal shop that contacted me and said, I think this is a great idea. And they called me in for a meeting and it was great, it worked. But then I look at the conditions that were surrounding that. I wasn't creating or trying to create something from a place of need or lack or desperation. I was creating from a place of no need necessarily because I had money. So I wasn't in a place where I was like, I'm desperate for money, I want this to happen. But I was passionate though, as well. I was still passionate about the idea. So the passion was there. There was no need. There was no desperation, just passion and drive. And I was at peace. So I look at those conditions and how I was to create so easily and just effortlessly and just flow. And I couple that with the times that I've had to create from a place of lack, from a place of need, from a place of needing this to work because I need this financially, or I want this to work because I'm so desperate and I'm passionate. Now, I'm not saying that passion and that drive and that desperation and that need can't reap results. I'm just speaking from my perspective because I know people that have desperately wanted things and got them because they were driven. They were unhappy with their circumstances and they made things happen. But I can only look at what I've done and what's worked for me and what hasn't worked for me neither. But one of those things that I had to do was accept my circumstances and accept, okay, I'm not happy with where I am. Rather than being like, I'm not happy, not accepting where I was, not accepting the circumstances, wanting something different. I just accepted, okay, I'm not where I want to be. I accept that I don't have everything that I need, but let me flip this and say, okay, I accept that I'm not where I want to be. Okay, what do I do to get there? Let me look at the steps that I can take in order to create those same conditions what worked for me before. And I think it was the awareness of things not changing and things not becoming different, things not being different. I knew that I had to change how I was thinking. I had to change how I was moving. Acceptance, I think, is more of an acknowledgement that, okay, it's like being easy on yourself. Okay, you're not where you want to be. What can I do to move forward? What can I do to change things?